Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the exams which will take place in the summer. And I always like to start these videos off with the quote from John Wooden, which I think really helps us to define what success will look like for many of you in the summer. And he said that success is the peace of mind in knowing that you did the best you could to be the best you're capable of becoming. I think we're all capable of achieving that as we work towards the summer exams. So what you will get in your pack to help you understand your timetable is this information. Just let me highlight one or two things on here for you. So you should have dates down the side here of when your exams will take place. And then you've got your start times. So that's the actual official start time of the exam. And you need to be there 10 minutes before that start time. Then it tells you how long your exam is going to be. And then the other things to check on here are the subjects you've got and the tiers of entry. So I can see here that on this timetable, there's a French exam taking place, and that's a foundation tier. And down here, I've got a combined science option, and that's going to be the higher tier with the letter H there. If you have anything wrong with that information, you must go and see your subject teachers first, and they will be able to sort that out with you. This timetable needs to be shared with your families. It's really important, and you need to build it into your calendar so you know when you need to be in school to complete those exams and on time to make sure you take part in them in the right way. So, building on that then, check your timetable, check's got all the exams you need and the subjects are correct and the tier of entry is correct. And as I said, any questions at all, talk to your subject teacher. Share it with the family, so take it home, let parents and carers see the timetable, and then you can work out plans and schedules around that. Morning exams will start at 9, so you need to be there 10 minutes before that point, so 8:50 for a 9 o'clock start. Most afternoon exams will start either at 1 or 1:25. Again, that means you need to be there 10 minutes before in order to be ready for that exam. And outside Miss Gilbert's office on the main corridor, she will have a little notice board with the start times for that day's exam, so you can double check that on the morning to make sure you're there on time. Equipment-wise, it's important that you come to the exam with the equipment you need to complete that exam. Every exam will require students to have a black pen. Subjects like maths and science will require you to have a calculator. I strongly advise bringing a calculator to the exam that you're familiar with using. And if you bring a pencil case with all your equipment in, those pencil cases need to be clear pencil cases, and that can include your rulers and pencils and other equipment for that exam. If anyone's short of anything, then please do take advantage of the parent pay order form. So we are putting these a pack together for students to order, and these can be ordered on parent pay and then they'll be delivered to you via our pencil case club students. So other things on the day of the exam. Whenever you come into an exam, you must be wearing your correct school uniform to take your exams. And as I said, please check that notice board for start times, locations. You will also have seating plans so you can see where you're going to be sat for your exam before the exam starts. Morning exams, 9 o'clock, be there 10 minutes before. And the afternoon exams will have a start time of 1 or 1:25. So again, please make sure you are there 10 minutes before those exams to be ready to sit down and get started. Bags and other belongings, and that includes any kind of electronic device, must be left in your locker. Please do not bring them down to the dining hall with you. So mobile phones, headphones, watches, please leave them in your lockers securely, and then you can pick them up after the exam once you've done. If you're taking a water bottle in, it's fine to do that. Just be aware that the water bottle has to be clear, so it can't have a label on it. You must be able to see through that, and just be mindful as well that if you are drinking water in the exam, obviously you don't want to leave the exam hall to go to the bathroom, so just manage the water levels that you're intaking. Around the site during the exam period, there will be notice boards letting you know where and when the exams are taking place. If you see one of those boards, please do not walk past it into an exam hall. It's really important that we are silent in those areas to allow the students completing their exams the opportunity to really concentrate and focus and perform at their best. So during the exam, I'm going to stress this again because it's absolutely crucially important. Devices have to be left outside the exam hall. We cannot take any kind of electronic device into the exam hall with us, and that includes headphones. Even if they're disconnected, they all have to be handed in. Watches, a regular watch that just tells the time, cannot be worn on your wrist, and any smartwatch is the same as well. We can't be taken out into the exam hall with us. So please leave those in your locker before you come. As soon as you come into the hall, the exam conditions start. So that means there's no communication, no talking at all at that point. And then you'll sit down at your desk, and your desk will have your little card on it with your photograph and your details. And you can start to complete your exam paper by transferring the information required, your candidate name, your candidate number, and your actual surname and other details, so that we are then ready to begin the exam. We will go through the instructions with you, so we'll explain what you need to do, and there'll be an opportunity to ask if you have any questions, just to make sure you understand fully what is expected. If during an exam you need to ask a question or you need assistance, you put your hand up and one of our invigilation team will come to you. You mustn't leave your desk during the exam to come up to speak to one of those people. A calculator case, you can't take those in exam hall either, so please take your calculators out of any case and just take the calculator in. And I've already mentioned water bottles. We can't have those in the exam hall with labels on. We must take the labels off. And you are definitely going to need a black pen. My advice is to have a couple, just in case, so that you can complete your exam paper. At the end of the exam, there are some exams happening at the same time, but they finish at different times. Therefore, what we need to do in that situation is if your exam finishes early, is leave the exam hall without disturbing the students that are continuing to complete their exam, and that lets them concentrate. And if there is time at the end of your exam, please go back over it and read it and just check you've answered everything you should have done and you can't spot any obvious mistakes in your work. Other things to be aware of, if there is a problem on the day of your exam, then please contact the school immediately so that we're aware and we can look at how we can help you. If you happen to be ill or miss an exam, then you must provide Mrs. Gilbert with a medical certificate on the day that you have missed the exam. And please have a look on Twitter for any of the updates around exam tables, should we need to get any messages out to people. Around the exams, we have our revision schedule, and that will be shared with you. And the idea is that you attend those sessions and they give you extra bits of information just to finish the final touches before you go into your exam. So in terms of preparing the exams, preparation for exams is about revising. Revision should be hard work. Revision is not just reading your notes. It should be proactive. I'm going to talk and give some more examples in a moment about what revision should look like. But revision, have a plan, stick it somewhere central in your house, so everyone can see it, and stick to that plan. And when you've done the bits you said you would do, so for example, I said I'm going to do maths revision, I've done it, then feel proud about doing that. Give yourself a break and then stick to the next item on your schedule. Sometimes it can be quite a big ordeal starting off with your revision, so break it up into smaller steps. Little goals help to get us started and make it more manageable, which is a really important part of that preparation. Eating and sleeping, I might sound crazy, but if we don't eat well, if we don't sleep well, we are not going to perform at our best in exams. So please make sure you take the time to do healthy foods and good night's rest so that you can be fresh to face the next day. Check your progress. Are you getting through the work you need to? It feels good to do that. Sometimes you check in, yeah, I've done really well. I know where I'm at. And it can just check to make sure that you are sticking to the plan you had. Spending time outdoors and doing exercise has been really beneficial to people's mental health and managing any kinds of stresses that might arise due to the exams. So please make sure you build that into your plan. Going for a walk, a bike ride, you may be playing games, activities, and get outdoors and enjoy the fresh air. Connect to people, again, really good for well-being. That doesn't mean socially connect, as in social media connections. Let's do face-to-face, talk to friends, talk to family, spend time with them, and then go back into the work at another point so you get that rest and recovery and balance it with the work that you're trying to do. And if you feel you need any help with any of your organisation or any preparation for the exams, please talk to your form tutor or head of house, and they'll be able to give you guidance and support to help you keep on track. So, in terms of being confident around our exams, to be confident means you have worked hard and you've prepared yourself, and that hard work you've done is going to lead to success. There's no way around this. You have to work hard to be successful in the exams that are coming up. So, effective revision. Your subject teachers will be modelling strategies and approaches that are effective for the subject, and you can then be choosing those methods that are being shown to you and using those methods in your own revision. Key things you're looking at: interleaving, so breaking up your learning, swapping ideas around, jumping different topics, going back over old material. Is the space practice as well. Retrieval practice, so asking yourself your core knowledge questions. Can you remember the information you need to know? Can you cover up a sheet and rewrite the work from that sheet containing all the information that you should know? Dual coding is very powerful, so it's using images and words to support your learning and your memory and your retention of that information. Elaboration, I'll give you an example of in a moment, and using examples that are very concrete and therefore easy to understand and easy to remember, again, is a very powerful way of revising. The key to all of this is the idea that when we learn stuff, our memory of it is very strong, but immediately we start to forget. And if we leave that information and don't come back to it, then we will continue to forget, and it doesn't go down to zero, but it's going to be really hard to remember the information. So the magic is this: if we learn information, we forget it, but then we go back over that learning, and that restores our memory of that information. And notice now it takes longer to forget the information. And if we do that again, go back over the learning, make our memory of it stronger again, then we can see it takes even longer. And we keep doing this approach. We go back over our learning, we repeat the learning, and until the information we need to learn is stored in our long-term memory. And this is absolutely crucial. And this is cognitive science. This is how our brains will work to store information. So repetition of the information is absolutely crucial, and that comes back to the hard work that we need to do. Other things to think about. So we talked about spacing our learning out, and you can see here there's some evidence to show this is the way to do it. Where we had the mixers are people that split their learning to different subjects at different points, and the blockers are people who did a block of learning together. What's interesting is the people that did the mixing of learning had a stronger retention of information when they took a test a few weeks after the learning. So mixing your learning up in this kind of idea where we do science and a bit of English, a bit of maths, a bit of history, we're mixing the learning up, makes our brain works harder. It helps us to store the information for longer, and therefore our performance in the test will be higher. If we block learn, so if we did all just science and nothing else, then at the beginning it feels like we've got a good recall of it, a good memory of it, which is brilliant, but over time we don't retain the information in the right way. So mixing things up is absolutely crucial. And this is what a revision session should look like for you. So we've got a number of different subjects taking place. We're trying to do 20 to 30-minute blocks. And it might be that once you've done your maths revision, you're going to start your English, have a bit of a rest. And before you start your English, just take a few minutes just to check, maybe whiz back through some of the math stuff and then pick up the English. So you're getting yourself that repetition of the learning that you need to do. Instead of giving an example, here's an example of some revision notes and what they look like. So we can see here, here's a core knowledge fact from a geography piece of work. And then what this student has done is elaborate on that information. So they have given extra detail. They've then, from their memory, they've then gone back to the notes and asked further questions to explore more understanding. And then they've given themselves examples to show illustrations of what these different features are. So these questions mean they go back to the notes, they find the answers, and therefore the learning and the information they have is going to increase and improve. And other things you should be doing, so talking to your teachers, making sure you're doing some past paper questions, really good practice, and your teacher should be modeling how to answer questions, because that's a really powerful way to show you how to approach things. Flashcards, revision cards are really good. Mind maps, very powerful, linking ideas together, help you to visually see how things link and how things form. Core knowledge quizzes, and there's a lot of revision sessions. We've got information being shared on the school website. Please attend those for your subjects, and they will give you really useful information to support your learning. So your revision template, we'll share these with you if we've not done so already. You can see this is one that's been set out, and you can see this student is doing exactly the things we've talked about. They've got their school day, but then around that, they've built in these revision sessions and they're mixing up the subjects. But within it, they're recognizing the importance of eating. They are building in time to do the fun things as well, and those exercises and taking time with friends and families and being outdoors. And they're not working too late, so therefore they're going to give themselves time to unwind and get to bed. So this is really, really important approach. You should have yours set up, and it really helps to structure your time in the most effective way. For year 11, we are going to share with you a leaving date. It's going to be different for different students, but we'll give you a leaving information in the next few days. Lessons are going to continue to support your preparation for the exams. So we're going to teach all the way through the exam period. And it's going to be really important that you bring resources with you to school to support your revision. So for example, it might be that you finished an exam in a certain subject, and that lesson time then you can use to do your revision in school. So those resources, are going to be important to do that. We will share information with you about the Leavers hoodies and the leaving process. And we're also going to have a really nice day together celebrating your time at Elsham High School, which is our celebration day. And we'll have a buffet and some assembly. And then we'll take you guys into Norwich, and we'll go down to the bowling alley and have an afternoon of bowling as well. More information on that will follow. And then, excitingly, we've got the prom to look forward to as well. So, final bit in terms of how else you can get support. We will share with families some videos around the different things we've talked about that go into far more detail about revision, about managing the exam period, and developing revision timetables. And there'll be a series of videos that you can sit and watch together with your parents and carers to help your preparation for the exams. So finally, the summer exams, we come back to this quote again, and I think we are all in a position now where we can really perform our best, and the success that comes from that is knowing that we've done our best. And it's a really good moment when you open those results up on results day, knowing that you have done your best and those results reflect your best effort. And that's ultimately what we want everyone to do. So thank you for listening. I hope it helps set out the exam process. And if you do have any questions, please do let us know, and therefore we can support you with the answers.